Hello again everyone, welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. My name is Mars, and today we're going to be doing the complete guide for taking on the Chaotic Darkness Trial. Now, as always, this guide is not going to be aimed at specific builds that necessarily everybody can do, but rather focused on the principles of the fight so that you go into it with an understanding of how you can counter the boss's mechanics, because nobody has the same unit roster, nobody has the same selection of items they can choose from. I just want to make sure that you understand what I took on my team, what was important, and the sort of stuff that you need to keep in mind for this trial, because Chaotic Darkness is not too difficult, but if you don't know what's going on, it can catch you by surprise. So we're going to focus a little bit more on builds in this case. Now, I am running CG Charlotte. She is probably one of the best units for this. And also keep in mind, there are different party comps you can run. This is definitely my most efficient one, but you can run alternatives to this. So Charlotte as my tank, I chose her because she can cover magic damage, and because you can build her with draw attacks very easily with a Moogle plushie and with the Wrapped Gift, or with other draw attacks items. That is why I chose Charlotte, because there are some points in the fight where you can get dispelled, and a provoke would be dispelled or a cover will be dispelled, so having draw attacks makes it a little bit easier for her to soak up damage even if all your buffs are wiped out. I have Holy Wand just in case I need to do some light damage to the boss. She does light damage with her counters, which is super handy. We also have Safety Bit equipped to counter death. And as far as resistances go, you want Dark and Water. Those are the two most important resistances to have. As you can see with my Charlotte, I only have 50% of each. Having more, especially with Dark, is probably better, but I also don't think it's necessary. So that's how I built Charlotte. She has status ailment immunity, which is also handy, as well as just some other tanky stuff. So that's the way I'm running her. You can run a separate draw attacks provoke tank if you would like, and that is totally acceptable as well. I'm just rolling it into one unit because I don't like to spread stuff across too many units. So, alright, the next person in my party that I'm taking is Mira. Mira is just going to be my healer slash, she provides buffs, some LB fill, healing, re-raise, a whole bunch of that stuff. I have her built with LB fill using Barrel's STMR, but you can use pretty much anything with high tide on it to replicate this. And also, I don't end up using Entrust as much as I thought I might. But the most important thing is to have high dark resist. I would recommend as close to 100% as possible. If you can't do that, not a big deal. Just know that you may have to rely on re-raise to survive some of the uncoverable dark damage. Sylvie is the same boat. I don't even think she has high tide. I think she's just built to be a little bit tanky and then to also have some dark resist. As you can see, she doesn't have 100%, and we're only going to be buffing dark resist by 50% using Sylvie. So, this is not immune to damage for some of these units, but it will make them resistant to it enough that they don't really care. Now, for our damage dealer, we are going to be using Mel Phase Ii. Mel Phase Ii is somebody that a lot of people have requested, so we're going to go ahead and take her. Mel Phase Ii is really fun for this fight because of all of her innate demon killer. Mine is obviously stacked to the teeth and built with a lot of dark resistance. That's the most important thing for your damage dealers. Demon and human killer as well are what you want on your damage dealers. So that's how I've built my Mel Phase Ii. Lots of dark resist, as well as some extra man-eater where you can fit it, and Demon Killer from the Raven Hearts. Now, if you don't have all of this stuff, which most people are not going to have it, not a big deal. It just means you may take a few extra turns to beat the fight, which may mean that, you may not be able to beat it within the 20-turn time limit for the last reward. So, not the end of the world, but that's just the way that I've built her. Now I'm taking King Edgar of Figaro because why would you take any other tank in the game? One thing I'm going to change about his build real quick is that I want him to have a light weapon equipped because the boss will do extra attacks if you don't seal him by dealing light damage. So one of the best ways that I've found to consistently deal light damage is to have Edgar equipped with a light weapon. And the reason for that is because Edgar's got a lot of abilities that deal damage to the boss while breaking them, so that's something that's just really handy for him. Other than that, he's built for High Tide and LB fill, and he's got a lot of Dark Resist as well. So you'll notice that's kind of the trend with this fight, is that you want your team to have a lot of Dark Resist as much as possible. 100% is ideal if you're only buffing Dark Resist by 50%. If you're buffing by 70%, you can do like 80% resistance. Kind of up to you. Figure out that sweet spot that works for you. And let's go ahead and jump into the fight. Alrighty, so this is honestly a really straightforward fight. Handling mechanics as you might expect. Charlotte's going to cover, and then we're going to have Mira do her buffing and healing routine. Sylvie's going to go ahead and buff against elemental damage as well as stop, as well as breaks. She covers all of that in one, but stop is probably one of the ones that can get you. I don't know exactly when all that comes out because I don't like to read the boss AI. I don't like to get into that level of detail because it's not necessary. But just know that stop happens in this fight and that you can prevent it that way. Now with Mel Phase Ii, we're going to go ahead and load her up so that we can get her LB up as quickly as possible. We're going to go ahead and use Birds of a Feather, and then I think we want to use Aerial Dive. That's going to imbue her with Wind and Imperil Wind as well. So we're going to go ahead and do both of those. Birds of a Feather, Aerial Dive, and these do chain up, which is nice. Edgar will break. And the other nice thing is it will help fill their limit burst. So as you can see, one Mel Phase Ii is completely full, and the other one is most of the way there. So next turn we can entrust with Mira and get that LB the rest of the way filled. Now this boss doesn't hurt too bad, especially if you get buffs up like from Charlotte. Charlotte's buffs are really handy. And instead of breaking with Edgar, I think I'm going to use Awkward Inventor. Yeah, it looks like we need to entrust with Mira, so we're going to go ahead and entrust. And interlude. So that's going to be more for singing and buffs and stuff. Now this turn we're going to do ailment immunity with Sylvie, as well as, I don't remember what else was important. Because we have element resist up, we have stop resist up, now we have ailment resist up, and I think LB fill is really handy for this team, as well as a defensive barrier. I'm going to go with LB fill. That works for me. Now Mel Phase Ii's limit burst unlocks her stronger abilities, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Now the boss is imperiled to wind a little bit from her aerial dive, which is really nice. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Now we're set to go. Now you can see we do take water damage, but Charlotte is able to cover all of it, so that's why we didn't bother equipping water resist on the rest of the party. Charlotte can handle that just fine for us. Now's the point in the fight where, because I'm not 100% sure of all of the thresholds or all of the different things like that, this is where I like to keep Edgar's limit burst going out, because it provides the strongest breaks. And because he has a light weapon equipped, we are able to seal away some of the boss's attacks as we progress through the mechanics. Now Mel Phase Ii has her strongest chaining ability unlocked, which is Ruckus Storm, or Soaring Shadows, but Ruckus Storm is better because that's what we have imperiled. And Charlotte doesn't need to do anything. Mira can keep buffing. One thing that's fun with Mira is that you can start her song before her current song is done, so you can kind of weave them into each other, get some extra LB fill going. There's a lot of fun stuff like that you can do. Alright, let's see how much damage this does this turn. Oh, holy crap. Mel Phase Ii is pretty good. I like her quite a lot. Now this turn we I'm pretty sure whenever you get this break and this gravity thing, you do pass a threshold. I can't talk. And that's when you do want to be hitting with light damage. Charlotte did it with counters, but because Edgar is the man and I like his big breaks, I just use those every single turn with him. And we can pretty much repeat that previous turn, continue the damages. And gonna put the ailment, nope, not the ailment, we did stop and elemental resistance first. And we're gonna go ahead and chain up again. Good heavens, Mel Phase Ii, you're ridiculous. Alright. Now, I do get a lot of questions from people. They ask, like, hey, Mars, what do you use to chain? I chain manually on all of my videos on my channel. That didn't always used to be the case. I did the Android Spark chaining trick back when that was a thing, but it is not a thing any longer, so, you know, I can't do that anymore, and so I don't. It was a really good method for chaining consistently, but it doesn't work anymore. So since there's not a method available for everybody to consistently spark chain, I just don't bother with it. See, we're gonna reactivate cover and mitigation with Charlotte. Gonna go ahead and do ailment immunity and LB boost. Edgar's going to break again with that light damage. Now this turn I'm going to do something a little bit different with Mel Phase Ii. I don't know if this is actually best practice, but I'm going to do Aerial Dive and Intense Rancor. Intense Rancor is a cooldown skill of hers that increases her damage against demons and birds for a turn. This foe is half demon and half human, so that'll help us. And it'll set us up to just finish him out for the rest of the fight, especially since I have to re-imbue and imperil anyways. Now, I wish it could finish itself, because Intense Rancor does quite a lot of damage, but, you know, I'm not dissatisfied. Now, these turns can be really obnoxious. As you can see, the boss buffed himself with a barrier. He beat the crap out of Charlotte. She's toast. And so now we don't have magic cover, and the boss buffed himself, and yeah, he's taking us to Ouchtown. This happens below a particular threshold. I think it may be 50% or it may be 40%, and it gets worse below, I think, 20%, but we're not too concerned with it. We're just going to dispel the boss, raise Charlotte so that she can bait more attacks. Easy, easy. Now Edgar's Limit Burst isn't up, which is too bad, but we can instead do Critical Call. And Trifecta Drill doesn't help. Trifecta Drill does not help. Let's do Mel Phase Ii first. I'd rather use his LB if I can. So we're going to go ahead and... Oh, shoot. Yeah, Mel Phase Ii actually needs to use her Limit Burst this turn. Unlock her better skills. So we're going to go ahead and do that. See if we can generate some crystals for Edgar. If not, it's not the end of the world. No luck. No luck, so we'll just go ahead and go with Critical Call and Trifecta Drill. No problems. And we'll do the big buff with Sylvie against elemental damage. That's how you handle those turns. They're annoying, but we did hit the boss with light damage with Edgar. So once you hit the boss with light damage for a third time, he does nothing for a turn, which is super handy. So it gives us a chance to recover. Now, because we had to dispel the Imperil, we're going to reapply it and do Ruckus Storm with Mel Phase Ii. So Aerial Dive for the Imbue Imperil, and then Ruckus Storm for the damage. And this will push him quite a bit, I think. Oh yeah, so we're basically one turn away from killing him. Keep that LB going with Edgar for the light damage as well as the breaks, because those breaks should not be underestimated at all. 84% breaks up all the time is probably a little bit OP, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little OP. I'm a huge fan of it. That's why I'm using it all the time. Edgar's in like all of my parties because 84% breaks is ridiculous. And he can use it, as you can see, like almost every turn. Look, he got half an LB bar with a single, or with 2 crystals, and I don't think he has an LB buff active right now, so it's pretty ridiculous. Alright, so that was another threshold attack because we saw the gravity, we saw the party break animation and all that stuff going out. But it's not anything to worry about because we can finish the boss at this point. If you have somebody who does LB damage like Esther in your party, easy peasy to get that kill with LB mission. The other things to do before you finish is to deal light damage 3 times, which we've already done with Edgar. Defeat with Limit Burst, we're about to do, and then defeat it within 20 turns for a fat 1,000 Lapis. So we're going to do that pretty easily here with Mel Phase Ii. There's a ton of other units you can use, and they all have different strengths and weaknesses, but Mel Phase Ii is definitely one that has some pretty big advantages because of her Demon Killer. So let's go ahead and knock this guy out of the park. Edgar's going to use his LB for that LB finishing damage. Oh crap, I suck. Here we go. So much build up and then oof. Alright, bye bye Chaotic Darkness. And then that's the kill with LB right there. And then the good news is, if we didn't actually kill him that turn, Edgar's LB went off, so it did light damage, it broke the boss, no drawbacks there. But anyways, that should hopefully give you a little bit of an overview of some of the boss's mechanics. The big thing is to make sure that you have sufficient dark resist on your party. Keep cool, calm, and collected if and when your tank goes down, because there are going to be times where you may lose party members. It's not the end of the run, you absolutely can recover. And yeah, so let me know what you used against Chaotic Darkness in the comments below, and I'll see everybody in the next video.